Hi, Thomas Miller, host of the Subconscious Mind Mastery Podcast and the voice of Fred Dodson's audiobooks. And I wanted to bring you to one of my very favorite places in Aspen. This is the John Denver Sanctuary. And it's only about 5 or 6 minutes from where I live. And it's one of my absolute favorite places in Aspen. This is a beautiful spot of flowing brooks. It's right against the Roaring Fork River. Meditation pools. In the summer, it is alive with beautiful flowers and undergrowth. So many people come here to enjoy this and just sit and meditate. There's a little amphitheater area where I often will just sit in the grass and bring my journal and contemplate. Truly one of the special places in Aspen. And if you ever come to Aspen, you have to put on your list the John Denver Sanctuary. When this song came out in 1972, I think it was, I was living in Tulsa, growing up, and the idea of Rocky Mountain High for me just seemed like almost a pipe dream. It seemed like a holographic reality. It seemed like a parallel universe. It seemed so far out there. John Denver wrote the words, he was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. After I got here and started hiking around these mountains where this song was inspired, I thought, maybe it would work to say he was born in the winter of his 56th year, coming home to a place he'd always had to leave before. But hey, look, it worked. I've waited for half of a century to be here, and now to just be in this spot, I still, as I think about it, I still have to choke back the tears because it is just so special to be here. When I come to this amazing place, the energy here that I feel are really three things. I feel John's passion. He was so passionate about life, especially in those early years, and absolutely loved being in these mountains. The second thing is that he was a storyteller. He could take these events of his life, a lot of them happened right here in Aspen, and he would write these 2 to 3 to 4 minute songs about them in beautiful, beautiful poetic form. And they were an expression of his heart. And I heard one time that I think he had sold more records than Elvis at his peak in the mid-70s because his heart communicated with people. And the other thing is he was an attractor. He was a magnetizer. He knew the law of attraction. It just wasn't around by that name at that time. But boy, he knew how to magnetize things into his life. In fact, I've met several people here in town who knew him really well. And they've told me stories about how things just exploded. They just took off back in the day and what that was like, being in that environment, in that energy. I wanted to tell you today or I wanted to play you a little story from Fred Dodson's Parallel Universes of Self. This is Fred's best-selling book and audiobook. And it's the one that had a profound impact on me standing here. Because to me, this was a reality that was so far away that I didn't think I could bring it to myself. But in Parallel Universes of Self, one of the great sections of the book is chapter 13, and it's full of stories from Fred's life around parallel universes, holographic realities, quantum physics, things happening simultaneously in an infinite universe that we can step into and step out of. And he also tells some great stories of, as he says, magic, just miraculous things that the universe unfolds in front of us, like coming to Colorado, or in Fred's early journey, a seminar that he was invited to attend by someone else whose name you might know. But the problem was that this was in Fred's early part of his career, and his accumulated manifestation of abundance had not yet reached maybe the peak that it might be today, and he had to pay to get himself to the seminar. But he had the basics. He knew how to create magic. He knew about the law of vibration. And in this story, he tells us how he got himself to Fiji.
Lucky with expensive courses. Back in the day, I was usually short on money, but I would always be incredibly lucky when it came to expensive seminars in the metaphysical and motivational coaching fields. These, quote, lucky breaks happened to me several times in this context. In the year 2002, I considered taking part in a course called Life and Experience Management by world-famous coach Tony Robbins. This course would be held on the Fiji Islands, and the course, plus flight from Europe, plus accommodations, would cost me $25,000. Unfortunately, my bank account showed $1,000 in the minus. Nevertheless, I addressed my higher self with the intent of taking part in a good course on some faraway and exotic island. The funny thing was that I had just recently returned from another expensive metaphysical course which had cost me $14,000. It was called the Avatar Wizard Course and had taken place in Orlando, Florida. Since I had also gotten the means to pay the course and travel expenses by magical means, I figured I could do it again. Intent on visiting that Florida course, I had suddenly gotten an offer to translate the franchise book of a company from German to English. I agreed to do it. In order to get the money in time, I did the whole translation within a week and received $10,000 for it. Not bad for someone who normally was making $3,000 a month previously. Anyway, right after that course came the idea to visit another one. The week after placing my intention, I held an English course. Asking my students why they were learning English, they answered because they wanted to attend an Tony Robbins seminar on Fiji soon. I recognized this event as something that I had called forth. Sure enough, at the end of the week, my English students asked me to accompany them to the seminar event as their translator. I would get the course for free, accommodations for free. I'd only have to pay for the flight myself. Fantastic! There it was, manifested within a week. Living in Munich, Germany, I went to the travel agency to find out what tickets to Fiji would cost, and my heart sank. Anything from $10,000 to $15,000. Cheaper flights were supposedly not available at that time. Are they crazy? I thought to myself. I had manifested my desire to visit that course. I would be getting it all for free. And here was the evidence that I could not afford the flight, which was as much or more as the whole course would cost. But I remained intent on finding a way. Soon thereafter, I had the idea to surf the internet for flights. I had the idea to fly to Los Angeles and then book my flight to Fiji from Los Angeles. And this worked out well. I ended up paying $800 for a two-way ticket to LA and then $1,000 for a last-minute flight from LA to Fiji. Sound incredible? Not if the whole universe is on your side. On my first day at the seminar, I translated for the group of Germans. But then on the second day, they told me they would no longer require translation and that I could just stay and enjoy the course, which I did, for free. Near the end of that same year, I desired to do yet another metaphysical course in Hawaii, and once again it seemed that I did not have the financial means to do it. And once again the universe proved to me that one doesn't need any money to manifest what one wants. I got a call from someone who wanted to book me on an English course, but he didn't do it in Munich or London, where I usually do such courses. He wanted to combine it with a trip to Hawaii. He would like to stay there for 4 weeks, of which I would be his teacher for 3 weeks. What a coincidence that I could arrange the one free week to be the week in which the course would take place. I practically got paid to travel to Hawaii, and I got paid for the week of vacation as well. The course cost a fraction of what I made there myself. I tell you these events as they all took place in the same year of 2002, and they all involved getting expensive things for free. Meanwhile, I'm in the beautiful position of no longer having to rely on money miracles to occur, but it was magic that got me here in this position as well.
Boy, everybody loves a good story like that, and everybody loves a good song, too. If you would like to hear more stories from Fred Dodson's life, from his experiences in multiple realities, parallel universes of self, then pick up the audiobook and the book if you'd like to read and listen together. That's the best way to retain the information. And you will learn everything that you could possibly want to know about the holographic reality that we really do live in. And you'll see infinity in a whole different light. And who knows, it might change your life in a way that it did mine, to literally shift you into a different reality from Texas to Colorado, or whatever your passion and your bliss is. And here is a list of all of the audiobooks that are now available, written by Fred Dodson, that I narrated, that you can pick up on Audible or on iTunes. Thank you very much for watching this video and for listening. Enjoy the stories and enjoy the songs.